Okay, this is part 2 of Take Me to the Top to the Keweenaw Peninsula adventure that we did this September 2025. The first half is actually going up there and exploring the Keweenaw. This is basically on the way back down. We did take a different route except for H58 because that's so great. We love riding that, so we rode that. Pretty much everything else was different that we did. So, for example, here is from Houghton to Christmas. We spent the night at the White Pine Lodge there, and we took all dirt. So on the way there, we were going to the Porcupine Mountains, so to save time, we took pavement that stretch in the morning. But here we kind of explored and looked at some different routes, and they turned out to be really good. It rained pretty much the whole day, but besides that, it was actually a good ride. Because we had time along the way, we stopped whenever we saw anything. So this was just a little waterfall along the side of the road that we stopped at. So as we saw things, we stopped because we weren't really pressed for time. It did get pretty foggy. We took turns leading like we usually do, but it was leading out front was really hard to see when in the foggy sections. It was much easier behind watching the taillight. This is a dirt road on our way to Marquette, and we had not taken this one before, and I highly recommend it. And matter of fact, we discussed that we're going to come back when we can ride it and it's not raining and foggy, because it was a really cool road. There was some rocks along the side. There was that ledge back there with the river down below. It was a really nice road, and it was long too. I forget how many miles, but I want to say something like 20 miles. I don't know. It was a long ways, but very nice. As it went on, it was still raining pretty hard. Things were getting washed out. We're checking the water depth for this large puddle to go through to make sure it wasn't too deep. I went through nice and slow because I realized I have short adventure boots that I bought for this trip. Don't buy those because even though they're waterproof, they're only like 6 or 7 inches high, and big puddles and things like that, the water goes in the top and down, so my feet got wet. So luckily the hotel that we stayed at had a boot dryer, as you'll see here in a minute. Not really, I just kind of used the hair dryer. It was in Christmas right by a casino, so we played a few slots, but it was a fun day. Okay, day 6, Christmas to Mackinaw City. This day was a mix of pavement and dirt. We did go through the H58 area, so that was the part that we did on the way up as well. But again, that area, if you haven't ridden it, it's definitely worth riding. I'm going to put in a little bit more video of riding through that area so you can see those sweeping rolling curves. But it is fantastic. It's more relaxing than a massage, really. I mean, you sit back there, you just roll to the right, to the left, and kind of clean the tires off and put them back round. Here's the same detour that we took on the way here. It was kind of a cool detour, actually. 2 years ago, H58 was completely closed in this area. We had to take a detour, like a 50-mile or more detour around, which was a bummer. Last year, it was open completely. This year, there's a small section that's closed again for construction. I think it's a bridge they're putting in. The usual spot along Lake Superior we stop at, there was actually people there. How dare them? But there's plenty of spots here, so we found another one. The KLR tractor right through this deep sand with all the weight luggage on there. Not a problem. The CB500X shifter was a little sticky. All that sand and dirt and all that linkage for the shifter. A little bit of WD-40 did the trick. my buddy, his mom requested a rock from the beach, so we stopped here so he could get her a rock, and then we were off to Mackinaw City. Most of the rest of the trip down was dirt, and it was nice ride. We were making really good time, so we took a little different route here. I do have the Great Lakes dual sport adventure route on my GPS, so I can see our routes, and then we rarely follow our routes exactly anyway, but since we were taking good time, I could see it's orange on my GPS, and I could see this little route going down this 2-track, so we took that, and it was a nice little route. It took us a little longer to time, but it was great. Hard packed, 2-track, really cool. Here we are rolling into St. Ignace. We stopped for a beverage, and there's a little hobby shop. We usually just go in there and take a look, and then across the Mackinaw Bridge, which I always enjoy going across the Mackinaw Bridge. It's really cool. I was kind of hoping it was a little bit later. It was not quite before the sun was setting, but it was still beautiful. Okay. Day 7, we left Mackinaw City, and we went all the way back down to Higgins Lake to finish our trip. And the first half of the day was all pavement, but that's okay because we took it along Lake Michigan, which is a nice curvy road. Some of the pavement's not great, but it's nice, curvy. It's a good motorcycle road, and that took us to Cross Village, where from Cross Village we took Tunnel of Trees down to Harbor Springs, and then the plan was to go to the Jordan Valley and ride there. However, the road was closed, which you'll see here in a minute, and we had to kind of pull off to the side and come up with a new route. But I'm going to play a little bit more. Oh, this area right here actually it was dirt last year, and they just finished it, and it's coming into Cross Village, and the year before it was actually closed. So, but yeah, it's finished now, and it's a nice smooth ride here. I prefer dirt, but here we are leaving Cross Village and 20 miles to Harbor Spring. And M119, if you haven't ridden it before, it's called the Tunnel of Trees. And in another couple weeks, this is going to be just bumper to bumper with people seeing the colors. So I kind of prefer to come now, cool weather, and you can just drive through it and be nice. But it's this two-way traffic. It's not a very wide road. I'm going to play a little bit more of it here so you can get an idea than I normally do, but you have views of Lake Michigan through the trees. I will say in the morning, it's better to come north. We were going south, which I never did that before in the morning. We're usually coming in the morning north. There's a couple bikers here, but the sun was in our eyes quite a bit, so that was a little bit of a bummer. It was still nice though. Harbor Springs is a cool little city. That's it for the Tunnel of Trees. So we then headed over to the Jordan Valley. and unfortunately it was closed. So we tried to actually go around it, but we had to get on the other side of the river. I hadn't ridden this in several years, and it's beautiful. If you've never ridden the Jordan Valley, there are 2 tracks that go around through the valley along the river there, and it's really cool. So I'm really bummed. I'll have to come back and do another video just on the Jordan Valley. But we found another route, and we did pretty much pavement, dirt the rest of the way back to Higgins Lake. So all in all, it was an awesome trip.